Hey guys, this is Kuze of the Contraband Esports Network, and we are bringing you week 3 of our CESN Player of the Week. It's Opticalrh, our holder this week, with ONEwbc.
Yes, and I am Chocobo Rider, and I am glad to be joining y'all as well. It looks like our first match is going to be MLG Metalopolis, and Optical RH is a Terran player, and One with BC is a Protoss player. So we can hope to see some very wonderful play coming out here. And let's not hope that it's just a bio ball from Terran and just stim a move. I hope that we see something a little bit more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of these players very high ranked, both grandmasters. For those of you who watched last week's cast, you know Optical is a very tricky Terran player. Loves Ghosts, loves those battle cruisers. Got some statistics for you actually as well. One WBC is actually ranked higher than Optical RH. He's 59th in North America and 341st in the world, while Optical RH is 84th in North America and 412th in the world. So two very high level grandmaster players. Both of which are definitely going to give us a good game here, I think, Chocobo.
Oh yes, and I agree with you there. But you can't always go by ladder status. Sometimes players just don't ladder as much as they usually should.
Hmm.
Now we do have Optical RH, our Red Terran, spawning here in the 9 o'clock position, and one with BC. One WBC. I'm always going to say one with BC. I don't know why. Uh, our yellow Protoss spawning in the 3 o'clock position. Complete cross positions. So I don't know what to expect so far.
And I think this will actually hurt RH. He's a player that we saw. He loves to drop. He also does, just going off of what we saw last week against Hyper, who was our holder last week, he does like to use those Hellions early as well. But with these, they're not close by air spawns at all. So it's gonna be take him a little bit longer to get those drops over to this area. And I think it's gonna really benefit WBC so far in this game.
Yes, and great point about close by air positions. This is MLG, so you cannot spawn close by ground, and close by air is a very beneficial spot to be in because not only for medevac drops and push in the front at the same time, but also for having a probe sticking back into the gas line and not being spotted, and all of a sudden proxy pylon gets put down and five zealots are in your main base while stalkers are coming up, and it looks that Optical RH has started construction on a supply depot and left it alone so that way he completely walls it off while
I really like that. That's a nice play by him. He's not allowing WBC to get in there and get the vision he probably would like to have as to whether or not there's an extractor up at this point. There's not, but he's not going to be able to know that now.
yes, there is no refinery available. Oh, but Optical RH does cancel. Was that a cancel on
I
those?
think the probe actually might have destroyed it because he didn't put too much time into building that supply depot at all. It only had about, it looked like maybe 100 health, if that.
Yeah.
So he definitely just definitely knocked his way through there, and he is hanging out in the gas back here, which has to make RH a little bit concerned because you know that is where you would put a proxy pylon if you are a Protoss player in this map.
Now we do have a cybernetics core coming down for one WBC, and we don't have a zealot out yet. So probably a stalker is going to come out first.
Yeah.
But one
And he does have a lot
WBC,
of energy on that Nexus as well. So I wouldn't
very
be
true.
surprised at all if, as soon as the Cybernetics core finishes, he warp a Chrono Boost, excuse me, Stalker out of that gateway and tries to put on suppression. You see, RH has actually gone ahead and put a refinery on that second gas though,
So
and
cute.
killed that that. Oh, actually no, excuse me. WBC killed that SCV that was building it, but it's still a nice play.
Yes, and that's very cutesy style of play. So that way, Optical RH will be aware if one WBC wants to get that second assimilator down, or if he's not going to worry about it too much and kind of force the Protoss player into a 4 gate scenario. And
Absolutely, and we do see this first stalker has been chrono boosted out, and it actually is rallied. It looks like all the way over to Optical's base. It's rallied all the way over to that natural. So he's trying to put some pressure on here. WBC. It looks like RH just has a second. Actually, yeah, a second barracks coming up. He has moved that other one back and put a bunker actually in front of that choke. So there is no wall there anymore, which is an interesting move from him.
Now, this Stalker does catch this Marine, and the Marine does make it to the bunker in time. And Bunker gives a nice, warm welcome to the Stalker there. And look at this! The Nexus being taken at the 5 o'clock position, not at the natural. And that is going to pull a real trickster on Opticalrh, because he might scan and expect to see a Nexus.
And we do see a second command center coming up as you say that from him as well, and it is in his main, so he presumably is going to be using that for scans, and if he can get lucky, it's not going to be the first place he would scan, I don't think. I think he would scan the natural, presumably first, but if he does get lucky with a scan here, that's going to be a problem for WBC, because that's very far for him to defend from his main.
Well, it looks like that command center is going to be going down on the natural, and a lot of the times you see the command center stay in the main a little bit longer and fully saturate the main base because there's only 22 SCVs out at the moment. But Bunker's going down at the natural for Opticalrh. Only 2 gateways right now for ONEwbc, and we don't really see that many units.
No, in terms of
Here.
army value, they are very close. I think a slight advantage for WBC, but nothing at this point that's going to be enough to win the game for him if he pushes. He does have 3 stalkers down here by his natural and a sentry, and he does have pretty decent map control. RH has been sort of kept inside of his bunker down here at his natural. He hasn't really pushed out at all, so we'll see if he does some sort of drop play or something as the game progresses to change that.
I'm actually looking at these upgrades right now. You notice that the stim and the weapons level 1 is timed pretty close together. So we might be seeing a push in approximately 2 minutes in-game time. And I think that this push might do a lot. There's only 2 gateways and finally a robotics facility going down, even though that ONEwbc does have 38 probes now and just 2 gate robo. And that's not anything at all. There is a proxy pylon here that is going to allow faster warp-ins.
Up at this third, yeah, that proxy pylon, there is a stalker up there. It just killed the Marine, but there is a very heavy Marauder force here. They do have concussive shells as well, getting rid of that proxy pylon. So those are going to be very, very effective here, and unless WBC can find a way to sort of deal with those Marauders at this point, I think it's going to pose a problem for them.
Yeah, 2 more barracks going down for Opticalrh and a factory, so we probably will see a reactor being put onto that factory and a starport at the same time. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough gas for this but here we have 2 more refineries being made at the natural for Opticalrh, and finally the third goes down for ONEwbc, and he is being so greedy. A forge going down, but I just don't think that Immortals and Stalkers are really going to cut it. More gateways going down, but it's just...
Now, we do see a sweep here, though, from RH, and Chocobo, correct me if I'm wrong, but he hasn't seen this third down here. He has no idea it's there, and he sees this Nexus coming up just now. I'm not exactly sure to him if when he sees that going down right now, if he's going to go ahead and assume that the army value for the Protoss player is much greater than his because that's just coming down. You know, if I was to sweep that and see, okay, this is just coming down, he must be using all of his minerals, all of his gas towards army. I better be careful here because he has no idea this third's down here and has been fully saturated for a fairly long time now from WBC.
Now, I would agree with you if and only if ONEwbc didn't already make that small, tiny push against Opticalrh. Opticalrh saw the entire unit composition and saw that it really wasn't that much to begin with. He could have taken it out with just half of his Marauder force, and so he probably isn't expecting much at all. I think that Opticalrh is seeing through all of the shed of illusions that ONEwbc is trying to pull over his eyes. See, notice how this factory is rallying over towards this way. I think that Opticalrh knows what's going on, and here we have all of the units moving out as soon as the medevacs come on out. Now, these medevacs could get picked off if there was something worthy at the Xel'Naga Tower. Nope, there is not. Now, ONEwbc can expect to see something coming here, but it looks like the supply count is pretty close together, but it's 53 SCVs against 61 probes. This is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, and the army value is pretty equal at this point. Actually, you see a nice use of that sight, excuse me, of those medevacs to get that warp gate unpowered by Opticalrh, and he is dropping some of these Marauders, using that high ground very effectively right now. And if I had to make a guess, if WBC tries to do something here, he's just going to pick up all of his forces and place them on the high ground. Let's see if he does. There's some nice force fields here, but these Zealots are going to pick off a lot of these Marines, but you see they are getting up into that medevac, and so those force fields really nullified right there by that medevac play, and it looks like RH is actually going to retreat really quickly here, but there are more force fields coming down. Those
Beautiful
are nice
force
fields.
fields.
But another
Now,
great medevac pickup.
amazing medevac control there from Opticalrh. He saw that he was losing it. He did a big dent, and the factory for Opticalrh just spawned